speak into the microphone, we can't hear you.
$3,727,381.10. Cash disbursement in the current fund account for the month of May totaled $3,327,546.10. The cash balance in the current fund account as of this period totaled $10,889,539.08. Cash receipts in the water utility account for the period May 1 through May 31 were $124,853.14. Cash disbursements in the water utility account for the month of May totaled $88,809.66.
Can you not hear, Mr. Burris?
No.
Can't hear
No, can't hear back here.
It's not working.
Hey, Jimmy, fix that, will you, Jim?
Doesn't sound like the microphone is working at all.
Maybe, can you hear me?
Your microphone's not working.
It's not on.
Why don't you take Nancy's microphone?
Nancy doesn't use a microphone.
But the microphones aren't working.
Can we take the public microphone?
Jim, you're on call.
Can you hear me now? Should I start over, or do you want to hear all this? Okay, get to the end. All right, my last one. Cash balance in the water utility account as of May 31st was $2,568,806.33. That's all I have for the borough manager's report. We have minutes for approval tonight, March 31st, special meeting, March 31st, executive session, April 5th, agenda meeting, April 10th, regular meeting, April 19th, agenda meeting, May 3rd, that's an agenda meeting, I'm sorry, and May 8th, regular meeting.
Has everybody read the minutes? Everybody? Read the minutes. Good. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ordinance 2017-14C, an ordinance amending Chapter 136, Sections 4 and 5 of the Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, providing that the release of balloons into the atmosphere shall be a nuisance, and amending the penalties for all nuisances. First reading.
Do I have a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Caxton.
Don, can you hear us? Oh, he's off the phone. We lost him.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mr. Maskell.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2017-18C, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 204-24A, water rates of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to provide a bona fide nonprofit an exemption from the standby or service charge required to provide water services. First reading.
Do I have a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve 18C.
Is there a second? I'll second it. And Dawn, I know it's not going to pass because Dawn was off the phone, so.
Well, we have, let's take it and see. Mr. Lynch.
No.
Mr. Maskell.
Yes.
Mr. White.
No.
Mayor Davis.
Yes. So can we bring this back? What's the deal on this? This was an ordinance we had to forgive museums and churches in town for having to pay water, having to pay the base fee for the water. So that would mean 2 museums in town and a couple churches. They would have to still pay for their line going into the rectory. It would just be if there's 2 lines, for example, one going into the church and one going into the rectory. We were forgiving the basic $500 a year that one has to pay, all of us pay. For those, it would have been the Maritime Museum, the Long Beach Island Museum, plus these churches in town, 3 or 4, I think. So I don't know, we had a straw vote at an agenda meeting, and 3 of us approved it and 2 of us didn't. And Mr. Cactus, we lost him on the phone, so we're a tie. So I don't know I don't know what the regulations are. Okay, thank you. So move on.
Ordinance 2017-19C, an ordinance amending Chapter 212, 7B1, non-conforming lots, uses, and structures the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven to correct conflicting information in the code. First reading.
Is there a second?
Do we have a motion?
No, I'm sorry, is there a, I'm all excited. Is there a motion to approve? Don, it's too late, too late. You can stay for the next one.
We have a motion on the table, right?
Oh, I lost him.
Do I have a second?
Section 19C?
Second.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Ordinance 2017-20C, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 74, Construction Code Uniform of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, State of New Jersey, increasing permit fees. First reading.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Finally, ordinance 2017-22, ordinance of the Borough of Beach Haven adopting the redevelopment plan for Block 167, Lot 4, within the Borough of Beach Haven, Ocean County, New Jersey. First reading.
Is there a motion to approve?
What is it about?
Explain it.
Explain it? Okay, well, all right.
You need to explain every one of them if you can.
Well, we're not, technically, I'm
They're
sorry.
available.
We don't have to. There are ordinances for everybody to read up there. And I like to explain it. I'll explain it. This is a resolution that allows us to take an area of ground on Main Street and designate it as a rehabilitation zone. A rehabilitation zone, this is an area, it's where the old post office was. It's been vacant for many years. And it's sitting there, and we have somebody that wants to put a project in there that looks like it'll really enhance the downtown of Beach Haven and improve business and be good for everybody. This gives us a chance to give some tax abatement on this and to give, let me just explain that because people get a little confused with tax. When the person is developing this property, right now, I really don't know offhand exactly what the taxes are in this, but it's Mr. Cactus. Dawn? I'm sorry, are you there? Are you there?
I got disconnected, yes.
Yeah, okay, so you're on now. I'm sorry, guys. But when the things will get better in the future. Anyway, so basically what happens is for the first, I'm trying to speed through this, but for the first couple of years when they're doing the development, we have the ability to give them some tax relief. What happens is, in this instance, the person's talking about putting in 4 condos and 1 COA unit, and what that'll do is greatly enhance the value of this property so that in the future we'll be collecting a great deal more taxes than what we are now. Probably 10 times more taxes. So in the long run, it's good for the taxpayer. I don't want to go into great detail. You can read about it. I'll be glad to explain it to you in great depth if you want more information.
How long is your tax relief?
With the rehab, we only have 5 years we can give tax release. And we start out with each year you increase the tax. Technically, they're really not paying any less than what they're paying now. So it's really a no-lose situation for everybody in town.
Okay.
Mentioned that there were 4 condos.
This is just
Wait a second, we
introduction.
can't get into a discussion. During the question and answer period, when we open the floor to the public, you can ask questions then or come to me after the meeting.
And the public hearing
I'll
on this
explain it to you.
ordinance is the July
This is
meeting.
not approving the project. This is only approving us designating this area as rehabilitation.
It's not even approving it.
It's not even-
introducing it to the public. It'll have a public hearing in July before it's adopted.
So you'll be able to hear all of it. It just gives us some leeway here. So do I have a motion to approve this?
Motion.
A second? Okay.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes, and Mr. Cactus is on the phone.
Mr. Cactus?
Yes.
Thank you. All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 118, returning Island bonds. 120, establishing the 2017 special services fees for special events. 121, authorizing the submission of a raffle application for Mordecai Land Trust. 123, authorizing the execution of a contract with Hunter Technologies for the purchase and installation of a phone system for the new Borough Hall. 124, authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement with the Borough of Beach Haven, Harvey Cedars, Ship Bottom, Township of Stafford, and the Office of the Ocean County Prosecutor, Long Beach Township as lead agency for the purchase and installation of various cameras. 137, consenting to the issuance of amusement licenses for Mr. T's. 138, approving a resident request for additional handicap parking. 139, returning dumpster bond. 140, appointing a member to the Joint Environmental Commission. 141, returning street opening bond. 142, authorizing the certification of additional funds for redevelopment council. 143, executing a grant sub-award agreement with Barnegat Bay Partnership for the Conserve Water and Reduce Pollution of the Native Garden Project. 144, approving application for fireworks display on July 4th in the area of Fayette Taylor Avenue. 145, amending the 2017 professional services appointment for prosecutor. 146 is the 2017 salary resolution. 147, authorizing an amendment to the existing professional services agreement for the provision of architect services. 148, proclaiming our unwavering patriotism as U.S. citizens by holding true our support of the written ideals of the U.S. Constitution. 150, urging representatives from the state of New Jersey to support the legislative action to reauthorize and extend the National Flood Insurance Program. 151, authorizing and executing first modification to the Stronger New Jersey Neighborhood and Community Revitalization Program Development and Public Improvement Loan issued through the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. 152, updating the emergency management officers. 154, execution of a shared resources agreement, street sweeper between the Township of Long Beach as lead agency and the Borough of Beach Haven. 155, authorizing to advertise for bids for the 2017 Taylor Avenue Park Pavilion project. 156, approving change order number 1, the miscellaneous trench repairs. 157, approving the change order to PO 1700957 for the Nelson Avenue trench repairs. 158, amending a shared service agreement for the construction code enforcement services, Schedule A, B, and C. And finally, Resolution 159, authorizing the refund of taxes paid.
I would like to remove item 151, 2017 for further discussion.
Okay?
Is there a motion to approve the resolutions?
Well, I have a question. Number one, on the salary ordinance, Sherry, it says the following list is included. There's no list. Does it mean everybody that's employed by the borough?
You had an attachment that was mailed out with the resolution.
I would say, because I'm missing 4 resolutions on this.
Okay. And we reviewed it at the agenda meeting. So it was the attachment.
Okay. And what about the updating of the emergency management offices? It
We
seemed
have
like
one of our officers
resigned.
retiring.
So we're updating, just notifying everybody that he's retired?
Well, we have to remove him from the roster since he's severing
Okay.
his relationship.
Okay. That's all.
Okay, thank you, James. And a motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolutions as read?
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Caxton.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mr. Maskell.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Resolution 151 was removed, authorizing and executing first modification of the Stronger New Jersey Neighborhood and Community Revitalization Program Development and Public Improvement Loan issued through the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Caxton.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mr. Maskell.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes. All right. I want to explain this to everybody. This is the good news that I wanted to portray to everybody in Beach Haven, and this is very exciting for us. We are building a new Borough Hall, a new municipal building, as you know, and you can see it's well under construction. It's starting to look like a municipal building, and by July you'll see cedar siding on it, and it's gonna look great. So we're very excited about this. This was an expensive project. We went through a lot of agonizing. Our old municipal building was very much damaged in the storm. There was no possibility of raising it. We would not have been able to insure it. But we knew it was going to be expensive to build a new municipal building. And for a number of years, people kept saying, what are you doing? You can't work out of this place forever. And we were investigating all the options that we could find that would allow us to be able to build a building like we're building now, which we hope to be a centerpiece in town. We were fortunate enough to get a grant, basically through the EDA, New Jersey EDA, which is a department of HUD, that gave us forgiveness on 25% of our loan, and we also had a low interest loan that was stretched out for many years, so it wasn't a huge burden on the taxpayers when you look at it over the years. You know, it was still expensive. I mean, it's $5 million, so it's a lot of money for a little town like Beach Haven. We actually had to scale down the project because the bids came in, the first set of bids that came in very high, so we scaled the project down, and we were very fortunate to be able to go out to bid again and get bids that were reasonable. So you can see that we're building this beautiful building, and hopefully next year, we hope to get in early in October, we won't have the problem we're having with the microphones and the calling in. You can see, we're going to have great audiovisual reception in that building. So somebody like Don can be sitting in Vermont, and we can look at him and he can look at us, and we can communicate. So this is going to be wonderful for Beach Haven. We're really, really excited about it. Well, to make a long story short, to go on, I got a phone call back in, oh gosh, it was maybe January, from this very nice young woman, Kathleen Agason, who is one of our main persons we're dealing with a loan and with the grant. And we had a groundbreaking for the Borough Hall, which was really quite nice. A lot of you came to the groundbreaking, and basically it was a lot of fun. And Kathleen, we introduced her boss from EDA, and they gave a little talk, and I talked, and it was very nice. And then Bonnie Wells had us all out doing a line dance, which was on a video. I think a lot of you might have seen that. It was quite cool. So I get this phone call, that was in October, maybe in January or February, I get this phone call from Kathleen. And so I'm sitting on the phone and I thought, oh, what do we do now? Because we have meetings every other week with our construction team and our architect. And Sherry and I are there, and Dawn's always there, and somebody from the EDA usually comes. And I thought, oh my gosh, what have we done wrong now? We've made some mistake, we haven't paid a bill on time, there's a problem. So she says, so I'm sitting on this chair, and she said, are you planning on renting out any of the space in this building? And I said, no, in fact, we could use more space, but we're not renting any out. She said, in that case, would you be willing to accept 100% forgiveness of this loan? And I mean, I sat there like stunned, and I almost fell off the chair. And Sherry was on another phone, and Sherry, our CFO, was on a phone, and we're all like totally in shock. And I said, well, yeah, that'd be really nice. Can you really do that? And she said, well, I think we can. She said she and Bruce when they were returning home from the groundbreaking, they started talking about it, and they said, I don't know why, we often can give full forgiveness for these loans, and I don't know why we can't do that for Beach Haven. And she said, but we're kind of new to this area of the government, and she said they did some research, and they said, yeah, I think we can. So, okay, this is back in January, February. So, why aren't you hearing about this sooner? Well, they had to get full approval. We did not get full approval till May. Then there was a veto period. The governor could have vetoed this. He had 10 working days to veto it. So we had to sort of hold our breath for those 10 working days. So finally, we are totally out of debt for this building. We are getting 100% payment to this building. So it's just a very, very, very exciting thing. And I think we all can go and
You're
celebrate.
far away more money.
$5 million bucks. So it was, I thank Rich Kay for starting the process, Sherry for staying on board, Sherry Bowler, who worked very hard with all the statistics and money. And I really want to thank these people from the EDA that I invited to come tonight, but it's they just couldn't make it. So I told them to watch it on YouTube. It is really, really an exciting thing for us, so we're
Economic
thrilled.
Development Authority.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right. Very quickly, we're going to move through the liquor license renewals really quickly, please. Resolution 127, 2017, granting a liquor license to Waterfront Restaurants LLC with special conditions. For each liquor license, we have to open the floor for public hearing. You have to do that one.
Right, I'm opening it, this is in regard to the Black Whale, correct? I'm opening the floor for public hearings. If anybody would like to speak to this liquor license, please come forward, state your name and address, and come up to the podium. Hearing none, I'm closing the floor.
Do I have a motion?
Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the, grant the license.
Second.
Mr. Kaxis?
Don, are you still there?
I'm still here, listening.
Mr.
Yeah.
Kaxis?
You're voting for the liquor license of the Black Whale, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
I have a question on these licenses.
Yes.
All the special conditions state that we're back to the decibel reader, and that's a bona fide way of giving a noise complaint. Now we're back to getting noise complaints, and if that's the case, then we're not going to be able to do it.
That's only one of them.
Well, Jim, as I remember, we were gonna get rid of that
Yeah.
out of there, but we were told by the state health department that we had to have that in there.
That's in 134. This is a separate thing that says that under the special condition, the police have to have this thing, this reading. And the BJ Police Department has to be trained on it and be able to testify against it. I think it's in every one of them.
And we reviewed this at a few agenda meetings, and it
Well, I
was brought up.
just read it today.
What would you like to do? These licenses are valid until June 30th.
I'd like to, move on the licenses, but
Well, we could move on the license with the caveat of
Yeah, that we'll look
looking at
into-
this and perhaps change that one condition. Can we
Or-
go ahead and do that?
or have them do it.
Or have them do it. I mean, but by law, we have to have police trained in decibel reading. That, by law, we were told we have to have that done, so we might as well just leave it in there. That would be my
Can't
suggestion.
change the special conditions.
You can't? Well, I would just say leave it in. And then we'll,
Leave it in and let's enforce it.
yes, and enforce it.
It's pretty onerous. It's pretty difficult to do.
Well, it is difficult to do, but by law, we have to have police trained anyway, so. We should have discussed this at the agenda meeting, not now. So what are we gonna do here, guys?
Let's move on, and, I don't want to
Do you
penalize
want to approve this or not?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and
Do
read
I
it.
have a motion?
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Okay, read the roll call.
Mr. Kaxis?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
It's about
128, granting a liquor license to J.C. Beach Haven Tavern with special conditions.
Again, I open the floor for public hearing, if anybody would like to speak to this. Buckaloo? No? Okay, therefore I close the floor.
Motion?
Make a motion to approve Buffalo's license.
Motion.
My second.
That is just,
I'm seconding.
Mr. Kaxis?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 129, 2017, granting a liquor license to the Ingleside with special conditions.
Again, I have to open the floor for public comment. This is the Ingleside. Would anybody like to come up and speak? Yes?
What does the special conditions mean? Is it the same liquor license they've had all along?
The special conditions, and there should be a explanation over there. The special conditions are, there's a condition relating to teen night, there's a condition, they're all the same for they're the same for every single, and things like noise elevation and that sort of thing. You know, making sure that people don't leave your establishment totally drunk. They're all the same for every one. And would anybody like to speak to the Ingleside? Okay, I close the floor.
Make a motion to accept the Ingleside,
Second.
29.
Second.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Mr. Caxton?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell? Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 130, 2017, granting a liquor license to the Catch, Inc., trading as Catch Restaurant and Bar with special conditions.
Again, I have to open the floor for public comment. This is a catch. Does anybody want to come up and speak? Therefore, I close the floor. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve
Is there-
130.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Caxton?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 131, 2017, granting a liquor license to the Marlin Restaurant and Bar, Inc. with special conditions.
Again, I open the floor to public comments for the Marlin. If anybody wants to speak to the Marlin, please come up. Okay, I close the floor. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 131.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Caxton?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 132, 2017, granting a liquor license to the Beach Haven Marlin and Tuna Club with special conditions.
Again, I open the floor for public comment. Would anybody like to come up and speak? Okay, I close the floor. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Mr. Caxton?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 133, granting a liquor license to Murphy's Market with special conditions.
Again, this is Murphy's Market. Would anybody like to come up to the floor and speak? No, therefore I close the floor. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept 133.
Is there a-
Second.
Mr. Caxton?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 134, 2017, granting a liquor license to Don Rommel's Liquor Store with special conditions.
Again, I have to open the floor to public comment. Would anybody like to come up and speak to Rommel's? Okay, therefore I close the floor.
Accept 134.
Second.
Second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Mr. Caxton?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 135, 2017, granting a liquor license to Seashell Club, Inc. with special conditions.
Again, this is the Seashell. Would anybody like to come up and speak? If you want to come up and speak, please come to the microphone and speak. State your name and address, please.
Sure.
My name is George Dugan. I have a property at 101 Ingleside. Sure, D as in David, U-G-U-I-D. As you know, I wrote an email earlier this week about the quality of life issues that are happening outside the Seashell each night that they have the club open inside the restaurant and the motel itself. As I stated in my email earlier this week, we're having a lot of problems anywhere between 10 p.m. and closing time with patrons entering and exiting the building. Like I said in my example in my email, I've got people urinating on the building, we have people coming across the street throwing stuff on our property. We have, in one case, I caught people smoking marijuana underneath our building. seems like it's been progressing more and more as the years are going on. The Sunday night before Memorial Day, I went across the street, at that point I just couldn't take it anymore. I walked across, I spoke to a gentleman who stated his name was Tom, I believe he was the owner of the shell, and I stated to him, listen, there's a problem here, I live across the street, because it's shaking your building, you and I have a conversation, I can hear you clearly across the street in my bedroom. The problem is when people going in and coming out, they're all yelling and screaming. An example was, I told him, a car pulled up, it was an Uber ride, and two women got into an argument because they were deciding whose car it was. And it's extremely loud there at night. And he stated to me that the club isn't always open during the week. For instance, he said it's shut down now until, I guess, when the first week's rental starts happening. And I said, well, listen, can you possibly close the main entrance and have people enter and exit from the sides? And he said it's a town ordinance, you can't close the doors for fire or code reasons. So, like I said in my email, I'm kind of hoping the police department can do something about it where maybe they can fix a post out there with maybe 1 or 2 police officers stand there and make sure that these people are quiet, because it's just too much.
I understand, and a couple things, our police chief is here tonight, so he's hearing this. I did forward your email on. One of the things that this is a no tolerance zone. So literally when people leave that bar, they're supposed to be really quiet. They're supposed to walk out. Now that's hard when somebody's had too much to drink. We are going to post some no tolerance sign, no tolerance zone signs around near these establishments that used to be there, but maybe they're not there now. The police were really understaffed over Memorial Day because we hire a lot of part-time police in the summer, and they were just getting trained. They had to go to training. So things should get better. But I live nearby you, and I understand your concern. I've lived with this a long time. The best thing you can do is call the police the minute.
I agree with you. I'm a retired law enforcement myself. I just want to become one of those people that...
I know, but I always felt the same way, but basically they tell me that the only way they actually have a record, because when we renew these, before we renew these liquor licenses, we did this at the agenda meeting last Wednesday, we had the police come in and tell us how many violations and how many, and they have a list of how many calls people made regarding that particular establishment. And the problem is if people don't call and there's not a call registered, it really, then we don't have any teeth to be able to really deny them a liquor license or really go after them. We need their call.
I understand, but I don't want them to lose their liquor license.
No,
It's not them.
Right.
It's the
It's
people
the
coming
kids.
into the building, it's the people leaving the building.
Right.
Those are the people that cause the problem.
Right.
It's not the seashell.
Right.
I don't think that, I have no
And I
problem.
know they've worked very hard to try to make sure people don't leave there too drunk. They really cut people off at the bar. I know that. They check licenses, but I understand your concern. So we can look at
But
the issue.
it's not the intoxicated people either. Again, they're coming out of the building, they're yelling, are we going to the Czech, are we going to the mall? And, they're just yelling. Especially at closing time, from 1:30 to whenever they close. Everybody just piles out in front of that building. And it just echoes, and, I don't get a decent night's sleep when I'm down here on weekends. It just doesn't happen. And I realize I bought condominium across the street from the motel. I didn't realize I bought it across the street from that. It's in the middle of a residential neighborhood. I just think that the chief could fix a post out there. If they're coming out, they're telling people, listen, you gotta be quiet. And I'm kind of hoping maybe somebody at the hotel could also turn around and put 2 of their security staff outside and say, listen, you can't litter on the property. Like I said, I had a woman walk across the street, lay on the sidewalk, and is screaming into the phone because somebody's still inside the club. That's right on the
I understand.
Just need to know what happened, that's all.
Well, thank you for coming forward. We will try to make this better. I promise.
I hope so.
Okay.
I really do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, please come forward and state your name and address.
My name is Joe Pagliaro. I also own a condominium at 101 Ingleside Avenue. And I'll be very short and just say what Mr. Dubin spoke about. I 100% cooperate and second his comments. It's ridiculous. It needs to be corrected.
Thank you. And I'm sure the chief's listening to you and he's back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to come up and speak to this particular liquor license? Michelle? Not, therefore, I'll close the floor to public comments, and do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 135.
Is there a second?
Mr. Kaxis?
Don?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $1,700,347.97.
Yeah, has everybody had a chance to read the bills?
No.
Is there a motion to approve the bills?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? You can't, this is not a public comment, okay? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Kaxis?
Abstain. I was here.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Okay, so now we're at public comments. So now this is your chance, you can really talk. So when you come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and I know some of you might be here for different kinds of public comments. Maybe it would be helpful if we could try to keep, if somebody comes up with one area they want to talk about, if everybody else who wants to talk about that comes at the same time, so we can sort of keep these together. If you could do that, that would be helpful. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Davis and council members.
State your name and address first.
My name is Kathy Zabatino. My mother and I own the duplex at 319 5th Street. I will be speaking for the homeowners of the 300 block of 5th Street. So that's about 39 minutes if you go 3 minutes for each one of them.
So good. Okay, good. That's good.
Okay. When drafting the initial design concept 1 year ago for ordinance 2017-17C, aka angled parking, the engineer was unaware of the multi-family unit presence on the 300 block of 5th Street. Therefore, this project was flawed from the start. 80% of the properties are multi-family units, being made up of duplexes and triplexes. Beach Haven zoning law 212-23 off-street parking, Article A, Number 3, A through E, with D stating, each two-family dwelling shall provide 4 such parking spaces. Placing parking lines in front of these homes violates that ordinance. There is no net gain. I can park 5 to 6 vehicles on my property. You initially placed 4 lines for 4 cars, creating a loss of 2 spots. If the homeowners use these spots, they will not be available to the tourists. The township has not gained anything. Not to mention the public safety issues. You have created a hazard by forcing pedestrians to walk out into the street. We understand that the 300 block of 5th Street is a unique situation, being that the east side of Bay Avenue and the west side of Delaware Avenue are single-family dwellings. We can certainly understand where the confusion lies, and that is why we have never had the lines in the past 57 years. Errors happen. They are to be recognized and corrected. 100 to 200 families will be arriving to our block very soon for the season. This issue needs to be rectified and resolved before they arrive, not after the season. Some tenants are already here. Within hours of the May 17th meeting, lines were being put down wanted to offer a temporary solution. We are ready to remedy this oversight ourselves within 7 days with stipulations in writing from the Borough of Beach Haven, removing any fault or repercussions to the homeowners. We are very excited to start the 2017 summer season on a positive note. Remember, the families that rent our homes choose to spend their hard-earned vacation dollars in the Borough of Beach Haven. On a personal note, I would like to thank those Fifth Street owners who have come before us. Jack and Mary Daniels, Henry Lisa Heck, Frank Vicky Uzzolino, the Dunkerleys, my friends the Moffats, and lastly, my father, Stephen Wren, who were all very active in Beach Haven and taught me what it means to be part of the community. I thank you for your time and consideration in this matter.
Thank you, Kathy. I have been down there, as you know, and we have looked at the situation. We have remedied some of them. Our engineer, Frank Little, has been down there. Our head of public works has been down there. We did paint lines. We do need more parking in Beach Haven, and we did paint lines in areas where they haven't been painted. Unfortunately, we can't notify everybody of all these things, although this has become a big deal and I wish we had notified you. Although I just looked up in our bills list today, a mailing that goes out to the borough is about $3,500 just for a mailing with a postcard. That's what it costs to get your postcards mailed to you for your sewer bill or your water bill. So it does get expensive. We have really tried diligently to remedy the situations on your street, and I know Frank and I were down there Friday, I guess it was Friday, and we've really addressed so many situations individually, and we're very willing to remove some of these lines in the street. We do not want to, we have gained a lot of parking. I really, as a resident myself, and somebody that also has to deal with parking, because I'm close to the beach and frequently, and I have a teeny little driveway, I feel your frustration, I really do, and I really do believe that you guys are taxpayers, and we have to think about you as much as we think about the businesses. It's equal. So we are trying to look at all these on an individual basis, and I know Frank has made some adjustments, and that's all I can really tell you at the moment. But we can talk about it.
Unfortunately, that does not address the ordinance that says we need to provide for parking spaces for multi-family dwellings.
But when you talk about these parking spaces, they're parking spaces that are off the street. The ordinance does say that, and that relates to new construction. There are, like my house does not, I have a great big house, and it doesn't have 4 parking spaces, but that house was built when there was hardly any houses. So you can't then take something that's never had parking and all of a sudden say you have to have it. In your situation,
That's right, you're doing.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly what you're doing.
well, maybe we can get Frank to address this. I'd like to get out of
Frank,
my...
come on and stand up here with me. Come on, come on.
We just talked about this, whether we thought that the ordinances were conflicting, and we did not think so.
Yes.
There's the microphone. They're not.
Basically, the mayor and I went out and looked on Friday, and I believe we met you out there on Friday. I remember.
Thursday morning, yes.
Yes, you were there. It was Thursday or Friday, I can't.
You know, we tried to create additional parking. And, you know, the story, we strike 386 diagonal parking spaces on various streets in town. This street, we had a lot of calls. We've made adjustments. We removed some of the parking. I still receive calls from several of the neighbors. I've been speaking with Chris Carson, and I spoke to the mayor actually probably yesterday or actually Friday. About still having to go out and slide some spaces over, make some adjustments, probably lose at least another 4 or 5 spaces. I'm going to be down here on Wednesday with Chris Carson. I have a meeting about Borough Hall at 1 p.m. I plan to go out and take a look. I also have a gentleman at 120 Taylor that has a similar duplex type situation. And I anticipating losing a few more parking spaces. They're going to be available Wednesday. I'm certainly come out and talk to you or any of the other neighbors out there to try to rectify it. But we do want to have some on-street parking and to totally eliminate it in front of everybody's house. May not be fair unless the council wants to do that.
No, I think we have to really we have to be fair, and we're trying to look at each one of these on an individual basis. So I'll be glad, we'll be glad for the rest of you that are here to, tell us what's bothering you on the parking spaces. Because when I'm on Fifth Street, like next to you, to the east of you, you have a triplex. They have plenty of parking spaces. There's one space that maybe is on about a foot in front of their house, and then they have the whole space where they can park.
Right, they're concrete.
Okay, and then your house, you have that one area where your brother parks his boat, and it is the only place you can probably back a boat in with a truck. And Frank and I talked about that. We think that's not a problem. We can remove that space. We don't want to. We have to try to be fair to everybody in town, and we're trying the best we can. And the rest of you, that if you have an issue on your street, I can't really say anything without really knowing where it is. I just remember those two spaces. I saw one of the houses across the street where I thought the line overlapped on the person's driveway. And I think if you parked a big truck or a big SUV there, it might be difficult to get in and out. So, I think we have to look at those things, but we are on an individual basis.
So you're coming back on Wednesday
Yes.
to my house?
We all have houses on Fifth Street.
I'll be there.
About what time, Frank?
Well, I have a 9 a.m. meeting at the Borough
Yeah,
Hall,
me
so
too.
it'll probably be after that.
Okay, now, yeah, and
That's
yeah,
usually an
okay.
hour or two that meeting, so it'll probably be like 11:30 roughly.
Okay, well, I have a library thing I have to go to. I'll try to.
I'll be there. I know
Okay.
after the mayor and I
Yeah.
spoke, what we talked about as far as adjusting spaces. So I have an idea of what we were thinking.
Okay.
I'm glad to share with everybody, or if you're the spokesperson for the street, I can share it with you and give me a yes or no, or work on it, so we can adjust.
Do all of you agree with this?
I'd like to speak.
I would like to say, I would like to ask a question.
If you would like to come up and speak, this is a good time to do it, okay? Okay, thank you. Are you finished, Kathy? Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cash. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Slackett from 304 Fifth Street. I had the chance to talk to one of Frank Little's draftsmen who worked on the original project a year ago, and he was the one that designed it. And they had absolutely no idea that there were multifamily units on that 300 block of Fifth Street. Okay? If anybody had any common sense, they would look at the situation. You are now forcing pedestrians out into the street. It's not, I can't see the reasoning, the common sense behind blocking fewer parking spots on people's property with 2 public spots. There's nothing to gain by it and everything to lose. Everything to lose. I also had the privilege of talking with Mel when he was there. And he said when he drew the design up, he knew there would be problems on that street. But yet the borough went ahead and implemented it and tried to make a universal public parking with a net loss, not a net gain in parking spots.
Well, as Chuck said, it's very helpful for you to come and say these things because, as you said, we didn't know that it was multifamily. I had no idea that it was multifamily. Now and I'm sure Frank's the drafts person didn't know that either, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go around and rectify this.
All I'm saying is, before the township spends that kind of money painting lines, okay, they should have at least notified somebody to find out what was going on. And like I said, their net gain was a loss. You lost on that street alone probably 30 parking spots.
Well, I have difficulty believing that, but let's go out and talk about it. It's hard to deal with it. It's not there. The other thing, let me just say, right now, there's a code that says if you were to rip your house down and rebuild it, you'd have to put in sidewalks and curbs.
We
Right.
understand.
Yeah.
We
We
understand.
understand. We know that.
Yeah.
There was also, directly across the street from 304 Fifth Street, was a parking lot that belonged to the bank building
Correct,
behind
Right.
Atlantic Book.
right.
That was illegally taken out. They came on a Saturday and ripped up the blacktop.
Right, and right
And the next
now,
thing you know, we have
the people that own that, they came to the land use board and had permission to build 2 houses.
My question to the township was, when it was illegally removed, were they ever fined?
I don't know, I wasn't on
They have-
council then.
Were they were
That's
fined?
not,
Yeah, I wasn't on council.
I mean,
But, I really appreciate you coming because it's really helpful to have the opinions of the people that live in town. We really are responsive.
on the 400 block of Fifth Street and the 200 block of Fifth Street, there are established curbs and sidewalks that people walk down. On the 300 block, they walk along the stone line
Right,
at the curb. You're now taking those pedestrians and moving them 17 feet into the right of way of cars. And the police chief can tell you that they don't come down Fifth Street at 25 mile an hour.
well, that's good to know, because I hadn't thought of that, so thank
Right.
you.
Good evening, Dolores Samansky, 308 Fifth Street. There's another issue as well with the pedestrians. Fifth Street, because it is such a wide street, serves as a turnaround for the businesses, the deliveries for the businesses. So in addition to all of the car traffic that passes through, we have delivery trucks, tractor trailers coming through our street because they can easily, it's a wide street, so they can use that for passage, and it's easy for them to make a turn so that they could go to places like the Black Wind to deliver the goods and serve the goods to them. So that's another consideration as well, that it's going to impact businesses and pedestrians.
Okay, so you're saying by putting the parallel parking there, they won't be able to turn?
Right, and then where are they going to turn? Yeah.
All right, we'll take that.
That's another one. And I do have a question as well. We talked about the ordinance that we have cited, as Kathy so beautifully did in her oration. That ordinance only applies to new construction?
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
I did pick that up.
I can't provide 4 parking spots in my house.
But I can. We have we can.
You have a
We can, yeah, we can.
But yeah.
Are you like, yeah, we have, we can provide it if we do not have the new and improved lines of our homes. And in fact, some of us, and Jeannie is one of them, has, and I've been there a longer time, so my deed does not include the parking, which is very clearly written into her deed and the other person who is in condo. So there are a lot of moving parts to this. There's personal safety for ourselves and our families. There's personal safety for the pedestrians. We worry about the businesses, that they're not going to be able to get their deliveries. And again, that's a personal safety with the tractor trailers going back and forth. So there are lots of moving parts, and we hope that we have a positive resolution. And just to clarify what Paul was saying, that they are losing, you are losing some spots if you do that, or it's a wash. Because, for instance, I'm, a retired widow, and I like to go up my steps, and I don't have to carry my groceries.
Right.
So there's 2 spots that are right in front.
I know which house you are, I remember talking to
Yeah,
Kathy about it. Right.
yeah, I'm the one with the
Right,
multi-ethnic
exactly.
flags.
And Fred and I talked about it, we were trying to figure out what we could do.
Yeah, and it's that I will park my 10 vehicles in those spots so that people can't go and buy phone cables from my house, I mean, it's not that I'm being obtrusive or obstructive, it's just that I'm a South Philly woman. And the Philadelphians understand that. So, you know, it's passive resistance, and we want the best possible solution that we could have for the people who live on our street. And as I think many of you have seen, we're a community on our streets, owners and friends. So
I see
thank you.
that. Very apparent. It's nice. I like it.
So you can put chairs in your parking spot.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah, Philly.
After I take my snow out.
yeah, Philly.
I'm Jean Mantuano, 300 Fifth Street, and part of the 300.
300. What's your name again?
Jean Mantuano.
Jean.
Use the mic. Use the mic.
Gina, use the mic.
Use the mic.
I've been here 2 years and
There you go.
So I'm here because, of course, because of the parking situation. I had one parking space was removed from, it completely obstructed our driveway. And then the parking space that still exists obstructs entry and exit from our driveway. I do have photos. This is the car, vehicle in the driveway. This is the parking that I would have to cross or maneuver. I was told that when I discussed it with members of the office at Borough, that I was accommodated and that in order to get our vehicles out of that spot, we would need to maneuver around any vehicles that were parked in the spot in front of our house. I feel like that's a safety issue for me, trying to get in and out of my driveway safely. I feel like it's an issue for pedestrians, that I need to maneuver around or back out or back around the car to get out of my property. And furthermore, it's a great inconvenience to me. I don't understand why I need to be almost a stunt driver to get out of the driveway. We're all here, we all come down here, and we love Beach Haven, and we love that it's the family place that it is, and I'm looking out for the safety of my family, my visitors, our renters, and I also have realtors tell me point blank that when renters choose a property to rent, one of their number one concerns is the availability of off-street parking. So people park in the spot in front of my house. Where do I park when I come on Friday night after a week of work and I come down here and have to access my property? Where do I park? Down the street and carry all my things and move into, So we also had a deed. The deed was filed with Ocean County when we purchased the property 2.5 years ago. Across the front of the property is deeded as parking. So there's 4 spaces there that are noted for the property, and I was told that the borough doesn't acknowledge that deed, which I'm not really sure how, because it's an official document that's filed with Ocean County. So I'm not sure really how that works either.
Who told you?
Mr. Little.
Thank you.
So when I share a copy of the deed, which I have,
Okay.
and I can show that with you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else want to talk about parking? Okay, so now, anybody else want to talk about parking? Okay, so whoever wants to come up with the next topic, please come up. Okay. Well, I already have somebody walking up.
Yeah, okay.
There'll be time, promise.
I'll be quick. Good evening, Laura O'Neill, one of my neighbors on Avenue. Councilman, feeding my neighbors. I'm here because we have a neighborhood problem.
Speak into the microphone.
Sure. I've been a homeowner at the Breakers for the last 15 years. Previously vacationing here 15 plus years before that.
Can't hear you.
This is where I come to exhale and work hard and such. I came down here.
Can you speak into the microphone?
It's not working.
Can't hear you back here.
And the microphone is not working. This one is. Come on, Jim, do something.
Can you hear me now?
Former singer with the lamp light.
Can you hear it back there, Bill? Can you hear?
So,
Can hear you.
anyway, it's a neighborhood situation, and I don't know about you, but I don't take kindly feeling like I'm being bullied into living under conditions that we've been forced to live in recently. The situation at the Shell has reached a deplorable level of disrespect to its neighbors, its communities, and its laws. I work hard, as I'm sure you do, to achieve my dream home here in Beach Haven. When I come over the bridge, I literally exhale. You have no idea how I felt when I drew my blinds last week and my living room was illuminated by the signs from the seashore. I am not exaggerating.
I know.
Anyone can jump in and go to my place right now. You have no idea. There are 4 signs at the seashore. 2 are wooden, and honestly, they don't look so bad. But they have 3 lights shining on them. The 2 other signs are major problems. They're illuminated signs which roll every several seconds with different displays of minutia, ridiculousness. I don't understand what purpose it serves at all. Everybody knows where they can get a $1 bud on Thursday nights. That's it. They're about 30 to 50 feet from my property. I go out on my terrace, glaring at it. My living room, my master bedroom, my terrace are illuminated. I can go into my kitchen and see the reflections of the rolling sign on my wall. It's making me ill. I'm extremely frustrated, and I'm just actually very distressed. So my question is, and we've had this conversation, permits. Signs need permits. It is not in a business district, it's multi-residential district. You're allowed 1 sign. Not only does he not have a permit for 1 sign, he doesn't have a permit for 4 signs. Who does he think he is to get away with this? I don't understand. We all, when we're doing building, work on our properties and such, go to the building department, we live by the code. I don't understand why somebody else doesn't have to. Now, I understand you can be fined, and somebody did go out there a while ago, and obviously decided not to fine him, because it's just $100, just a slap on the wrist. Well, personally, I think he should be fined $100 for each sign, each day, until it's resolved. I do know, and I've heard, maybe you can enlighten me a little bit later, that there has been a summons served, and that there is going to be a judge hearing, because this is a sign. My goal here tonight, I want the lights off. I want them off now. I don't want them off July 10th. Now, when there's a violation on the building, somebody's putting a deck up, and they didn't get their permit, the building department will come down and shut it down. They'll red tag, and cease use. I think we have a building violation here. Those signs were not here before. I understand from the building department that he did not need a permit to do these renovations. So he's not really violating, but I disagree, because these illuminated signs that are attached to the building were not there before. How did he get the electricity there? He had to run lines. Did he get a permit for that electrical work? Has it been inspected? So I think we have a building violation here as well. So I would like and request that somebody go out immediately to see if there is in fact a building violation, and I would like it to be tagged and cease until we get this issue resolved as to what we're doing with these signs. You can see them, not just from my place, the whole complex. You can talk to anybody who's in our complex, that it is affecting our quality of life there. I rent it. It's going to affect my rental property. It's shining out on Bicentennial Square. Here it is, right in the historic district. Yes, he is not. He's right across the street. He's not looking at them. We are. It's shining out into the historic district of Beach Haven. And it really is compromising the integrity of our neighborhood. And quite frankly, it's very hockey-tock. And I think we deserve better than that.
Thank you. And he was issued 5 summons today.
5?
Yes, and we are definitely working on this. We do know that, you requested an OPA, and so we're working on that, and I don't know all the details at this point, but
But where do we go? Like, what can I expect?
Pardon?
What can I expect when I leave here? What glimmer of hope can I expect?
I can't tell you that you're gonna go home tonight and the lights are gonna be off. I can't tell you that.
I didn't.
But we have a lawyer, we've worked with him, he feels that, we're in the right with this, and we're hoping that he will see reason. And if he doesn't, then we take legal action.
Now, this meeting with the judge hearing, we can't do anything before that. Can we send somebody out and have a building inspected and see if there is a violation?
I really don't know, we'll have to look into that tomorrow. I know we've talked with the building department, I think we're not 100% sure what he's done. I know he didn't get a permit. I don't know about the electrical, I know Sherry's been looking into that.
I think we should find out.
We're looking into it, we really
I
are.
think we should find out.
Absolutely.
Because if the breakers did something, we'd be shut down in a second if we did something not to code.
Yep, yeah.
And that's why we don't go against the code. We go
Well, that's
by-
why we have the
Why- And I
code.
just don't understand why somebody thinks he can. Just because he is, just because he brings in business or such. We don't need these flashing signs. They're nonsense. It's nonsense. I just don't understand. So I'm basically looking for better quality of life for myself, my neighbors, East Haven, we deserve better.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else want to speak to this issue? Please come forward and again, state your name and address.
And I'm Joe Pagliaro, I also live at 101 Ingleside Avenue as well. Again, for the record, I'd also like to echo Laura's statements. And in addition to what she has previously said, just expand that where my condominium is located within the breakers, so 16 units of the breakers, my condo personally is directly across the street from the signs. I have a picture I'm happy to show you if you'd be willing to look. It is a large LCD video screen like you would see the Jumbotron at a Yankee game. Thunder Thursday is every Thursday, they're $2 bucks, we get it. In addition to that, all of the lights that he replaced, which I understand great intent and he tried to beautify his property. I have no harm, I think that's great. However, with the modern technology of today, all of the lights have been replaced with new LED lights.
Which are brighter.
They shine brighter. When you replace every light and then add more lights on top of that, you can land a plane from 40,000 feet with these lights. It is directly into my master bedroom and my second bedroom, let alone my balcony and the rest of my condominium. It is lit up like a tree every day. It's not acceptable. Something has to be done, whether it's in code or not code. It's what I would ask, and I'll take my emotion out of it, I apologize, is number one, can we limit the brightness of the bulb? I would say 60-watt bulbs, but I know that doesn't translate to LED bulbs. The brightness, how many lumens each bulb has. Can we limit and say there is a limit on the amount of lumens each bulb can display? And then can we also say that perhaps, I'm going to throw this out as a suggestion, after 1 a.m. the lights need to be dimmed to 50% of their capable output. I'm willing to work and be reasonable. I hope he is as well.
Not with the LED sign, right?
The LED sign, absolutely not. I can't think, I've been coming to the island for over 30 years. In 18 miles of this island, I don't know of one single LED Jumbotron on the island, full stop. Short of the fudge place that has the rotating lights.
Right.
There is no LED signs, there are no Jumbotrons on this island. He's got 2, of which go into my condo.
We totally sympathize with you and understand, 100%. And I think your point about dimming the lights and the voltage or the watts is really well taken. I think one of the problems that we have, to be very honest, is we have ordinances. And the ordinances, the technology changes, and we've got to change the ordinance to reflect the technology. So when this ordinance was written, they didn't have LEDs.
Sure.
So now we have to, I agree, I have the same problem where I live. I have another person in town that's concerned of a parking lot on the Methodist, a light on the Methodist church lot. And these are extremely bright because they're a different kind of light. And so maybe we can redo the ordinance and amend it and make some changes along that line.
That would be much welcome.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you,
If you haven't already, fill out the complaint
I
form, so
did.
we have, okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else want to speak to the sign issue? Nobody else? Okay, so I'll open it for another issue. Who wants to come up and talk? Okay.
Mary and Hobie and 502 Back Road. I live in Marine Commercial.
Yeah, can you pull it down?
Yeah, push it down by your head, by your mouth. But you have to speak right into it. You almost have to have it by your mouth, like, almost like this.
I live in Marine Commercial property. We have a few houses that are being built now. Almost Empire State Building. A lot of brick pavers, a lot of gazebos, a lot of everything. And I can't blame the builder because you people approved it. Now, my first question is, what's going on Dock Road as far as getting things done with the storm drains?
With the what?
The storm drains, you said there was money proposed, the Dock Road. I just wanted to see how long before it starts, when I have to be underwater by then, or
What's the schedule on that, Sharon?
2018, right?
Dock Road, we have a NJDOT grant. We're currently working on plans for the area from Bay Ave to west. And we're going to be replacing drainage in that area as well as paving the road. It's going out to bid by the end of the summer, so work could start late September. And I also understand New Jersey Natural Gas has to come in and possibly replace a gas line on the street, which they're also working on plans for.
second issue. You sent out a letter telling people they should even pull out the weeds in between the concrete on their property and their curb, etc. Property alongside of me got sold and nothing ever got done when I came with my complaints. Now it's under new ownership and the weeds are taller than I am. And I think I told you guys months and months ago that I had a back surgery because I'm maintaining 3 properties, my own, one behind me and one alongside of me. And absolutely nothing is being done. Now I feel sorry for these people because I have my own problem with the catch, which nothing gets done either. The vulgarity, the urinating, I mean, it's disgusting. And that hasn't been accomplished in any way. My problems, I hate to depress you people, are 5 years old. I don't know how old yours are. Good luck.
Thank you. We'll have the code enforcement person go by again and look at the weeds. Anybody else want to come up and speak? Okay, in that case, I'm Mike, well, you didn't get up fast enough. Michael, you're a little slow in getting up there.
I want to be
Right.
relaxed, and this is short. I know I can't comment on the balloon issue. Is that correct?
Well, you can comment on it, you just,
Well, I thought it
and you
had-
couldn't comment during the reading the ordinances.
After the first reading.
Yeah, but you can make a comment
Well,
now.
I appreciate you noticing it, but it's a grandma effect, meaning it's a toothless ordinance. It has no teeth.
Why is that?
Outside display balloons should be banned or require a permit. And that, you know, basically because nobody cares if one balloon goes. Nobody cares if a turtle or a fish or a seabird gets it, eats it, and slowly starves to death. No one cares, okay? Pay attention. And I appreciate I appreciate this at least coming up, but put some teeth into it. Require a permit, a $500 fine. And most people will say, well, why? Why? And then you can tell them, and then maybe they'll understand. We're all in this together. Even this stuff right here, people do it outside. Do you think they're gonna pick it all up?
What's,
Stuff on the ground. I'll be at the next weekly.
well, get your broom.
I'm not shy.
I know.
And I'll bring in stuff I collect in a small area. It's a matter like the signs, the parking and everything. Respect. Respect your neighbors, let the shell go wild and make a ton of money, but respect your neighbor. Put a dimmer on your neighbor. That's all.
Thank you, and I agree with you. And
Well,
I'll look into the idea of a permit, but that's not a bad idea.
well, the balloon.
But we have said no, you can't,
No feeling it.
no, or regular balloons.
So what? You hold the balloon up and they all are hanging down?
No, we have we no outdoor displays of balloons. Release, no release.
Helium or regular?
And no balloons at all on any public property.
Outside display.
If you have balloons in your yard,
Release?
you can't let them go. You're supposed to pop them and put them in the trash. But you can't take them on any public property.
I'm just expressing, I'm just trying to help.
Right, and we
And
appreciate
even
it.
Memorial Day, I picked up probably 10 at the ends of balloons from the ground. Straws, little mixing straws for a second or two, on and on and on. Anyway, I appreciate at least you acknowledge it.
But we're trying.
And little respect, you know, with the sign, the neighbors.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, Dad, do you want to come up and speak? Don't worry, it'll be fast. Gee, I thought we were going to get out of here tonight. Why'd you all this stuff?
I want to thank the Borough Council for their balloon ordinance, which I actually, waving to you, Michael, I actually forwarded this to Sherry a couple months ago in Atlantic City, passed the same ordinance, and Long Beach Township did the same thing. I think it's wonderful. I want to thank you for that, but it wasn't why I'm up here. As most of you know, and I know our mayor and council knows, we have a severe shortage in our first aid squad. And we had a particularly bad call today. And I just want to commend our police department and especially our chief, Kohler, because it was a cardiac call on Center Street. And had Chief Kohler not brought this woman to us in an ATV, it was so serious that this lady couldn't even be taken to our local hospital. We had to take her directly to Pomona, where she was immediately taken in for surgery. But here's our chief of police in an ATV, bringing this patient up to the ambulance. Myself and my driver, Dickie Croston, a retired DPW man, we're not getting any younger. And to ask people our age, short fat broads like me, to be hoofing it over the dunes to bring somebody up, if it's not for our police department and our lifeguards on the beach, many of our medical emergencies would have a very poor outcome. So I just wanted to thank our police.
That's wonderful that you were able to do that.
I wasn't, the chief did.
Well, both of you. Any other public comments before I close the floor? All right, none? Okay, the floor is closed to public comments. And now we have final remarks by council. Kim, do you have any remarks?
Just that, I want to thank the people that came tonight and brought this. We already knew about it, that's why the summonses were issued. But some issues were brought up tonight that I'd like to delve into tomorrow with our legal counsel, especially the thing, let's shut them off now if it's well possible because of the violation. I don't know if it is, but we will look into it. It's got to be horrible for you people, and I'm really sorry. I mean, quality of life crimes are the worst things that we have to deal with. They may be insignificant to some people, but if your quality of life is not good, then it's not worth, being in that position. But on a much lighter note, I didn't think it was going to be such a serious evening tonight, but quite some time ago, Mr. Peeler started, now he's on balloons, but he started on plastic bags some time ago about banning them. So we elicited the school children and the businesses and a lot of people to bring plastic bags in to be recycled by Trex Lumber Company. And if you got 500 pounds, which at first I didn't realize what 500 pounds of bags was, but it's almost a tractor trailer. Well, we've met and exceeded that thing with the help of the people and especially the school children. And we're going to get the bench, and it's going to, because of his endeavors, that we're going to have a plaque put on to his special person. Like I said, it seems insignificant after listening to what you people have to deal with. But again, thank you for being here. I know you're in retired law enforcement. I know how you feel about the calls. It's really something we found out with another issue that we had back in your area again, to make, when we went, we said there's nothing here, there's no complaints. So we need them when there's the catch, and the police have been, I went out one night and worked at midnight with the chief to see what was happening down there. And at that time we had more police officers, and they lined the entire street almost from the catch all the way down to the boulevard. And I didn't see anything, like you said.
We were down all the way to the show.
All the way down we had
Yeah.
it, because the other bars had closed, so the chief had everybody respond to the catch and work the whole thing. Again, till we have the manpower, and I can't say man anymore, but till we have the manpower, it will be addressed, I assure you of that. So
Thank you.
I want to thank you all again for being here, and that's all I have.
That's great. Jim's a retired police officer also, and we call him our enforcer. So believe me, he will make sure that things get better. Chuck?
I'd just like two quick comments. One, we promoted Sergeant Medal to Lieutenant Medal today. That was well-deserved. He's a really great officer, and I look forward to him serving us. If you cannot serve on the first aid spot, perhaps you know somebody who's young who can serve. And I encourage everybody to at least ask around who can help. Drivers are needed. You don't have to be CPR certified.
Thank you, Chuck. Don, I don't know if you want to say anything, or you can talk loudly enough.
I hope you can hear me. First of all, Officer Medal, he's probably one of the finest police officers I ever met. I've seen him in action at Tucker's, where a person had a heart attack. I've seen him in meetings on the building, the individual building, and I am so pleased, very pleased, that we were able to promote him. Officer Medal is one of the finest police officers we have in town. Second of all, the $5 million loan forgiveness cannot be understated. To me, that is a major, major accomplishment for the council and for Frank by going through the parallel parking, we have essentially become more efficient. We have exceeded over 250 additional parking spaces. If we were to build a piece of property for 250 parking spaces and build a parking garage, it would have been a huge expense for the town. So, I mean, I know there's some glitches in it, but I think that the fact that we can save 200 parking spaces plus 250 parking spaces is a great accomplishment, and that should not be understated. Finally, as far as the sign ordinance, I know we've benchmarked with Cape Ocean City and Cape May, and I know Sherry's working on a new ordinance for the signage, and we'll get this right. And I just think you need to give us a little time to make this thing work. So those are my comments tonight, and I appreciate all the communication that we had tonight. I try to listen on everything. Wish I could have been there, but again, I thank everybody for the comments. That's it.
Thank you, Don. Thank you very much for your comments. Tom, do you have any comments?
Yeah, on Thursday night of last week, Chuck and I had the opportunity to go up to Harvey Cedars for a meeting with a legal company relative to the regional high school and the taxes that Long Beach Township pays and what the mainland pays. And to give you an example, the taxes, Long Beach Township, for example, Beach Haven is paying $50,000 per student. The mainland is paying $4,000. Harvey Cedars is paying $254,000 per student. And again, the mainland is paying $4,000. I think you're going to hear a lot more about this as it goes along, because there were a lot of concerned people there. A lot of people would like to adjust this. We are asking for a copy of the tape. There was a tape that was produced that evening, which we'll probably show sometime soon. It was very, very interesting to see the disparity of who's paying what and how we're paying it. And one of the comments was made, oh, Long Beach Island can afford to pay as much as they want. And the other town, they pay what they want, $4,000. So I think there's a big issue here. I know Debbie got involved in it with the Taxpayers Association, but I'd like to challenge everybody to get interested in this right away, or as soon as we can. It will take a while, because we'll have to go through proceedings if we do this, but it has a lot of opportunity for us to possibly save some money for the town, ourselves, and maybe make things equal. And that's a very, very important issue this day and age. And yes, we are Long Beach Township, but we shouldn't be paying 90%, and another town off the island is paying 5%. So we do need to take a look at it. You're going to hear more about it as you go along. There'll probably be an article in the local newspaper this week relative to that. But I think the towns are very concerned about it, to the point that they want to talk further about it, see what they can do to maybe rectify this. It's an important issue. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's my turn. Okay, I just want to say, as far as the tax, school tax goes, it's a state formula. Everybody pays school tax based on the assessed value of the property. And it just, the reason the disparity is there is because we don't have many young people living on LBI. They can't afford the houses. The houses are so high. And when the school was initially built, 90% of the kids came from LBI. When Southern Regional was initially built, 90% of the kids came from LBI. Today, only about 10% do. And the disparity between the towns is how many kids from Beach Haven go to Southern Regional. Harvey Cedars pays the most because they have like about 3 kids going from Harvey Cedars, but yet they have a lot of big expensive houses. There is a bill on the state Senate floor that Christie's put out to try to make some changes in the way the law reads in the state. And there are ways to negotiate. For example, we could negotiate as a town or as an island that we would send our kids not to Southern Regional but to Pinelands because they might offer a better deal. These are different options. But this is a state law. And it's sort of like saying, well, here's a community that has mostly senior citizens in it, and they still have to pay school taxes, but they're not sending any kids to school. That's basically what's happening here on the island. We become a senior citizen community. We're we're following the law is what we're doing. We would like to see what we can look into to see if we can get some relief, because it is a lot of money. I also didn't mention when I was talking about our grant and the $100,000, the $5 million forgiveness, that Allison, who's sitting here in the front of the room, was very instrumental in getting this. I gave credit to a lot of other people, but Allison really, she's done amazing a job getting grants in many different areas for us. For example, I just want to mention, great things are happening down on the end of Taylor Avenue, overlooking the bay. We are building a pavilion there, and we now have new cement laid, and that all came from a grant. So, and Allison was very instrumental in that, so I just want to thank Allison. Also, somebody told me today, oh, I heard you're building this big pavilion down on Taylor Avenue, and Jenny was going to build it, but now that the town's involved, the price has gone up 10 times what it was, which is totally the opposite. So these are rumors that float around town. We're very fortunate we're building this pavilion for a fraction of what it would cost if we just did it. And we've been able to get grant money, and in addition to that, Jenny Life has donated some money. So Frank and Allison have been very instrumental in that project. I also want to mention that came through in one of the resolutions, but there also was a resolution regarding a grant that was received in town for our native garden. And I want to thank the folks that did this native garden, which would be Robert Jacobson and Lynn Van Neen. Robert Jacobson came to me 6 years ago and he said, I want to get my, are you yelling? He came to me 6 years ago and said, I would like to do a project for the town. And he was getting his environmental stewardship certificate from Rutgers, and he'd just become a master gardener. And he said, I'd like to do something for the town. So I met with the public works guy and with the town manager, and basically said, do you have any ideas? We're looking at the beach, and they said, what about Taylor Avenue? There's nothing down there. So he literally single-handedly, and then as he started, other people started helping him, built this amazing little garden, which you really should look at. It's been flooded many, many times with salt water, and it just keeps everything in there grows in this environment. And he just got a grant for about he and Sherry helped with that grant for $4,500 that deals with water conservation, because plants like this don't need to be watered frequently. These are the kinds of things and the kinds of gardens all of us should be thinking about here on this island that work with this environment. So I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was a very exciting situation. I also wanted to say that we finally got our master plan, and I want to thank Bonnie Lenhard, who's sitting here in the front row, who was the head of the master plan committee, as well as Allison, who works for Frank, and they work with our committee. We had a committee that was made of a variety of different people from the community, and it just came out, I haven't read it yet, but I hear it's wonderful. I've heard a lot of people that have had the opportunity to read it say it's great, so we're very excited about that. So there's a lot of, even though I know there's a lot of problems here, there's a lot of really good things happening in Beach Haven, and we all love this community, and all of us on this council are very open to listen to all of you and your concerns. And so we thank you for coming to the meeting tonight. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.